Hi everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of VMware's Partnership Perspectives. I'm Anna Lawler, Vice President of Global Partner Ecosystem Marketing at VMware. I'm responsible for driving VMware's global partner marketing strategy, marketing to, through, and with our broad ecosystem of partners. On this podcast, I'm pleased to bring you the stories and trends from VMware executives, industry partners, and analysts. This week, I'm joined by Bernd Schlotter, President of Software and Cloud Services at SoftwareOne, a cloud solutions provider operating in over 90 countries worldwide. For over 20 years, SoftwareOne has partnered with VMware to help customers make smart, strategic cloud decisions with a pragmatic approach to modernization. Today, SoftwareOne is a VMware Pinnacle partner, which is the top tier in our partner program, Partner Connect, only awarded to VMware's most strategic and transformational partners. So coming up, Bernd and I discuss the specific pain points enterprise customers are feeling, such as lack of ROI on current cloud programs, lack of governance in cloud adoption, and the challenge of managing application estates in the cloud. You'll also hear how together SoftwareOne and VMware are helping customers redefine how to buy, build, migrate, and manage everything in the cloud. Enjoy the conversation. Good evening, Bernd. A very warm welcome to our Partnerships Perspectives podcast, and a big thank you for joining us today. Perhaps you can start by telling us a little bit about SoftwareOne and your role at the company, please.
Yes, sure. Good evening. Pleasure to be here. SoftwareOne is a global software and cloud solutions provider operating in over 90 countries, and I think it's a remarkable fact that explains the history of our company a bit. Our purpose is for all who turn access into opportunity. So we are places in markets where others are not, and that explains a lot of the actions that we're taking. At the second highest level for the business I'm running is the Software and Cloud Services, a business line, as we call it, a division. It has about 5,000 colleagues in those 90 countries. And we are redefining how the world buys, builds, migrates, and manages everything in the cloud. That's a very lofty statement, but it's also our differentiation because we're the only ones who are doing buy and build and migrate and manage. So imagine if you have an application estate and people use the 7 R's to describe or to segment what you possibly could do with an application. We are the only ones who are doing it all. Even some of our large competitors don't do it because many of them, the global systems integrators, do the build, the migrate, and the manage, but not the buy. So when we work with customers to go into the cloud, we can help them relicense, can help them save significant cost upfront that they can then invest to migrate into the cloud. This is also important in our relationship with VMware. So that's our stick. That's our message. We're doing this mostly in the mid to larger enterprise market, not the very, very large enterprise market because of our scale. But end-to-end is our focus, and also global is our focus because that's important for our relationship with our partners like Microsoft, AWS, Google, or VMware.
Fantastic. Thank you. Well, VMware was certainly very proud of the long-standing partnership with SoftwareOne. I think, keep me honest, but I believe it's a 20-year plus partnership now, and worth mentioning, of course, in our newly launched Partner Connect program, you're a Pinnacle partner, that the highest tier in the program. Certainly sounds like the proposition is very unique, the build, buy, migrate, and manage. And I also like how you referred to supporting customers on this cloud journey with the 7 R's. So perhaps for some of our listeners, might be worth just reminding on the 7 R's. So refactor, replatform, repurchase, rehost, relocate, retain, and retire. So on that, now we've established the 7 R's. I'd be interested to hear, when you're speaking with clients, what are the current challenges that come up in your conversations?
I'd like to call this the messy middle of cloud adoption. We had in the pandemic, everybody goes remote and everybody accelerates the move to the cloud. You can see it in all the numbers. The tech industry has been booming. And now many companies are caught in a place where they're halfway there. And so CIOs are concerned about cost optimization now because of the changing economic conditions. The sentence that you hear the most is needing to do more with less. They have a lot of pain points around lack of ROI on the current cloud programs, lack of governance on cloud adoption, very important point. So they're asking us, okay, I've partially migrated, I have a cost bubble, I don't see the ROI, the complexity and the cost are mind-boggling, and I also don't have the right skills in my organization to manage my estate in the cloud the way I've been managing it on the premise.
Interesting observations around, I think as we know in the pandemic, that absolutely accelerated cloud adoption and customers wanting to move to that multi-cloud strategy. But of course, now that the reality of it is that journey is very complex, and that's what we're consistently hearing from customers. Interesting that cost is playing kind of a big part in that complexity and what are the main challenges that you're hearing. So what do you tell clients experiencing those pain points to do, and how do you advise them?
So one of the bigger advantages is that we have 65,000 customers on the reselling side and about 18,000 customers already on the services side. So we can do better recognition. Our heritage on the reselling side is to get the customer the best deal when they procure their software estate. And you can flip that around so we can advise customers on how to optimize their software costs. And so that's very often for us an entry point into customer discussions. Let's take a look at your current estate. Let's make sure that there are no applications that you can rationalize without any consequences, that you can relicense, how you can think about licensing when you go from on-prem to the cloud. Also very important in discussions with VMware customers. And then we have this, we call it our superpower, that we have this cloud advisory superpower for major workloads, for major hyperscalers that allow us to ring the cash register for our customers, give them significant cost savings up front that they can reinvest into the journey. So for us, it starts with cloud advisory, so our heritage, and then we go into the technology transformation after that as a second step. We do a lot of cloud migration, application modernization, cloud native applications, data and AI, but we are not special there as much as we are special on the front end, advising customers about the economics of the journey.
I love the sound of the cloud superpower. It sounds like a lot of this is rationalizing, helping the customers make smart strategic decisions. That certainly resonates with the VMware story. We would talk about moving on this journey from cloud chaos to cloud smart. And the way you describe it seems, if I may say, a pragmatic approach to modernization on the journey.
Yes, and also understanding, coming back to do more with less, understanding that the CIO needs to make a case now with investment and return on investment. And if you can upfront generate returns that you can then reinvest into the transformation, then that's an easier case to make for our customers. I think pragmatic is one way to look at it. It's just a smart way of thinking about a transformation in our point of view.
We've talked about cost savings and cost optimization, and FinOps is an interesting up-and-coming discipline. So has SoftwareOne been in that space for long?
Yes. So first of all, FinOps, just to explain, because there might be different definitions out there, cloud financial management is actually inward-looking. It's establishing governance. It's establishing transparency. It's clear that you can link cloud spend to budgets and measure the ROI. And so we have been a founding member of the FinOps Foundation. So we have been there from day one. And we have also one of the largest teams certified in FinOps. So we are investing in this. It's embedded in everything we do. And we also consider it one of our superpowers. And by the way, we collaborate a lot with VMware because VMware has cloud health in their portfolio. And it's, in our opinion, top 3 FinOps tools on the planet.
That's great to hear. It definitely sounds like an area where we're only going to see more demand in the future. So how do you work with clients on their VMware licensing decisions?
Most importantly for us and for VMware is, of course, we resell a lot of VMware in our markets. Again, we have a significant reach, maybe broader than many other partners. So reselling, this is how it all started. But now on the services side, more and more, we engage deeply in the advisory discussions about how should customers think about their VMware investments, to provide visibility of the entitlements, the utilization, So making sure that they understand what they're paying for. And then once we think about cloud migration, we advise them on the most economical way to think about not just the technological aspects, but also the commercial aspects. So, VMware, in my mind, has done very smart things to make it easier on the commercial side to incent customers to take on-prem to the cloud. And we engage also with VMware a lot to understand the economics, understand the TCO calculations, and then work with the customers to find the smartest way to decide how to go into the cloud, and if the decision is to go with VMware, how to do it. So we see ourselves as a trusted advisor, bridging the hyperscaler, the VMwares of the world, and the customers.
It sounds like really managing the long life customer relationship as that journey continues. That it's an always on journey to the cloud, as we say. As a market trend, we're certainly seeing higher demands for both professional and advisory services from customers.
I think in general, this has been an interesting journey. And whenever over the past 10 years, when we dealt with going into the cloud, the most surprising thing was always the amount of professional services that customers expecting. Customers expect a lot more hand-holding initially, and then they expect managed services on the back end. But even more importantly, right now, in this phase of the transition, the transformation, professional services are paramount. It's kind of like, okay, let's size advice and align on the economic case. Let's align on the journey, on the technology, on the skills required. All of these are significant projects that customers expect us to deliver.
That makes sense. Thank you. So can you share a success story or two about how VMware and SoftwareOne are helping to deliver customer outcomes together?
Yes, we're very excited about some of the recent developments on the VMware side. For example, we helped a global fashion brand in Europe with their data center modernization to Microsoft Azure and to the Azure VMware solution ADS. We worked with them to update their remaining on-premise data centers to the full VMware Cloud Foundation stack, that they could basically operate hybrid and had the same capabilities on-prem and in the cloud. I think that's a major win also on your side to provide these capabilities. Upskilling or skill transformation is a major aspect, and in a hybrid environment, if you can use what you learned already on-prem and operate with the full stack the same way in on-premise and in the cloud, then that's a big win for our customers, and we've seen this quite a lot.
Great story. And when we hear about these success stories, it really speaks to a truly connected ecosystem as well. Really hearing from the customer, they're working with multiple vendors as well as SoftwareOne. We're seeing increasingly more of these kind of connected relationships across the ecosystem.
Yeah, and in case of AVS and with Microsoft and VMware, observing from the outside, it has been quite a journey for VMware and Microsoft to come together, but now it has worked quite nicely. And so we are one of the largest partners, or the largest partner for Microsoft globally, and the large partner for VMware. And so we are in a position to advise the customer on the benefit of combining these technologies. We can provide them the support and the advisory from the beginning of their journey, and then at the end to help them run with managed service. And as an observation, right, there are many reasons why a client may want to explore VMware in the cloud. We've seen use cases around disaster recovery, rapid data center exits, IT talent reorientation, as I said. And also, and this is still referring back to what I said before, to optimize commercial terms in hybrid architectures. I think you've done a good job for your customers to make it easy for them to bridge the on-prem and the cloud world.
Yeah, really speaking to unlocking and maximizing value for customers across multiple vendors. Great. Well, we've spoken to the size and scale of SoftwareOne, and I know you have a significant team. So perhaps you can talk us through what principles you follow as a leader to keep your team engaged and retain talent.
So as you know, in a services business, most of your IP walks out the door every evening, and you have to hope that they come back the next morning. And so technology does not yet create outcomes on its own. So it's the people, right? And so we are a people-centric company. We have 7 core values, and we will, in front of every meeting, cite 1 or 2 of those values and relate them to the objective of the meeting. And it sounds a little corny at the beginning when you're coming from the outside, but it's actually very sincere and it's being lived in a very positive way. So our values are humble, customer focused, employee satisfaction, speed, passion, integrity, and discipline. And so you will say, today I'm picking speed because in the context of the meeting, it is important that we are acting fast, and here's why. So one will relate one of the values, or today I'm picking humble because we're never as good as we think we are. There are some issues we need to work out and we can do a lot better. So there is a culture of that. It's a very flat hierarchy. We don't actually operate in hierarchies. We have hierarchies, but we don't operate in them. And we want to make sure that our people live in harmony between their work world and their personal world, investing a lot of energy in maintaining that culture and investing in that culture. Similarly, it is important to bring in the right people, and going back to our purpose for providing access to opportunity is that we have a SoftwareOne Academy where we bring in people that are less fortunate and help them educate themselves on IT skills that can be very valuable to them for their career. We've done this now in more than 20 countries, mostly in more remote places where IT talent is scarce and also the opportunity to educate yourself is not necessarily there. So we've graduated hundreds of people in the last year on that, and we continue to scale that. So to make a long story short, it's a people-centric culture. It's very open, high-performance culture, and something that if you look at the feedback, like 96% of employees think they have a great working relationship with their colleagues, which is quite remarkable.
That's amazing to hear. Thank you for sharing that. It certainly sounds like a very strong culture and a great working environment as well. And I love hearing about the academy you mentioned. Thank you for sharing that. We're coming towards the end of our session today, and we're going to end with a lightning round question. So a slight change of pace now. The last question of the day is, what is the best advice you've received professionally or personally?
It's very simple. The glass is half full.
Well, I can certainly relate to that. That's a great optimistic takeaway from our session today. Yes. So Bernd, thank you very much. It's been an absolute pleasure speaking to you today, and really thank you for sharing your knowledge and your insights.
Thank you, Anna. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure talking to you.
And we're back. I hope you enjoyed my conversation with Bernd. It was inspiring to hear his thoughts on the necessity of cloud advisory services and how SoftwareOne helps companies generate upfront returns to reinvest into their transformation initiatives. We look forward to seeing how SoftwareOne and VMware continue this long-standing partnership in helping customers make smarter cloud decisions, optimize software costs, and manage their estate throughout the entire journey. To connect with Bernd, you can find him on LinkedIn. Thank you for joining me on this episode today. Remember to subscribe, follow, and review the VMware Partnership Perspectives podcast from your streaming platform of choice. For more information on VMware's partner programs, please visit Partner Executive Edge on VMware.com. I'm Anna Lawler. Thank you for listening, and I hope you'll join us next time.